I now call this meeting of the Davenport Community School District Board of Education to order. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I turned it on. Thank you so much for that. And we will move to our mission and vision statement. I'd like to incorporate our student members in this, as Jackson would read the mission statement and Landon will do the vision statement. Thank you.
The Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens.
Education that challenges conventional thinking prepares all students to compete in a global society and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you so much to the both of you. We'll turn it over to Dr. Barney for a recognition presentation. You can do the guiding principles. Director Beck, can you please do the goals and principles?
The guiding principles. Opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
The goals that tie in. Number 4, demonstrable progress in disproportionality. And number 6, bullying and harassment. The expectation is that PBIS will become a priority for each district building.
Thank you very much.
This evening we have a presentation being provided for Yap and Jabari Woods. Can you please come up and introduce them?
Good evening, our illustrious board. Dr. Barney, I'm so excited to talk about YAP, the Youth Advocacy Program. Director Mike Cole, a former employee of the Davenport Schools and also law enforcement, has graciously become our director and leader of the Youth Advocacy Program, which primarily focuses on students adjudicated in an effort to wrap around services to them and put them in a position where they can be successful. As we all know, our superintendent and our board is moving in a direction where we want to make a difference in students' lives, and we know the educational format is not only the place we can do that, we can also reach them in the community. So these are branches to our district. We're expecting big things from the Youth Advocacy Program as they really begin to build relationships with families and students and provide opportunities and alternatives to crime. Without further ado, I want to introduce Director Mike Cole, who's going to give you an overview on YAP and all the wonderful things going on.
Good evening. As Jabari said, my name is Mike Cole. I'm the program director for the Youth Advocate Program. I believe this is the second time that I've come before you. When I first came on, I just actually started the position in April. At that time, it was just me. I did not have a staff. I was on the hunt for some advocates, at least 3, and a clinical, we call them coaches, but clinical therapists, and an administrative manager. I'm here to report that I've accomplished those goals. I've been able to fully staff my office. And I have one of the greatest administrative managers who is actually a retired Davenport school teacher. And she has been outstanding in keeping me on task. as we all know, those secretaries really kind of run things. But as far as the Youth Advocate Program, just to kind of give you a little bit of history, it's been around for 40 years. It's in 32 states. Iowa being the first office, and I with the honor of being the first program director. Right now, just get down to the nitty-gritty, we're sitting at about 5 kids that we're servicing. Outstanding kids referred to us by the Davenport schools. We're looking at another list of what we call community partners. Some people call them clients or intakes. But we're working on 24 to bring those families on board. We have really hit the ground running. My new staff has been brought up to speed as what the mission of YAP, what their marching orders are, what they should be doing out in the field. Very little time is spent in the office. Once we've signed the family up, then we're out working with that family and those kids 24/7. And when I say 24/7, I mean 24/7. You know, we're trying to establish a relationship, and we do it overboard than maybe some other agencies do, because we just want to establish where they are, meet them where they're at, try to show them something different, try to show them a better way. I really do have to highlight a couple of the kids that we're working with, not mentioned by name, but when they came on board with us from the school system, these were kids that had truancy issues, behavior issues. The school basically were at their last wits with these couple kids that I want to highlight. But since we've been working with these two since probably the end of this past school year, because we kind of got like I said, a late start in April. You know, I had to go to some training and get my office up to capacity, but we really got busy over the summer working with these couple kids. And, you know, I would tell you that the last couple weeks, and that we took this young man who had been such an issue within the school system to an NAACP banquet. Parents did not have dress clothes for him. We bought him dress clothes. We taught him some etiquette, you know, for that type of event and level of people that he would meet. And he has been outstanding. He actually was the first intake that we took on, and he has been phenomenal. He's over at a middle school on the west end of town. The second one I kind of want to talk about is another kid, same issue, a lot of different concerns, family-wise. We developed what we call a ISP. Some of you might know an IEP, but we do it in tandem with the schools. We don't want to be doing anything any different than what they're doing, and we're all working for the same goal. We work off kids' strengths. You know, what do they do well? We build on that to lead them down a better path. But the second kid, real quickly, and I know I got some time limits here, but he was just a terror. We were able to work with the schools where he currently attends. And if you can believe it or not, because you don't really know him, but he came over to the TMBC, which is where my office is housed, the old Lincoln Fundamental School. And he was helping putting books on the shelf because he just developed a library there at that facility. But a few weeks ago, this kid was not compliant. You know, I think I grew a couple of extra gray hairs working with him. But if you can believe it, this is the type of thing that we do. You know, we put 24/7 in with the kids. We believe in what they're doing. We just help them navigate through life to get them to be better people and better community leaders, hopefully at some point, and stay in the Quad Cities versus leaving the area. I did provide you with some strategies, some information, some resources about the program, our 2022 and 2023 strategic plan. I'm not here necessarily to speak to that, but if you have questions about it, I can certainly respond to those. But just a resource for you to let you know that we're on target. We're getting some traction. The training on with YAP is phenomenal. My staff is phenomenal people. They're from the community. And we do that strategically to pick people that are from the community, working with the kids that live in the community, because they understand the challenges of the community. And that's why we have people from the community working with us. So if there's any questions, I could certainly entertain those.
Okay, President Gosa has now joined us, so he's on remotely listening. Director Beck?
First of all, thank you so much for applying and becoming our head of this program. So you said that you are currently serving about 5 kids, and I know it's an intensive program, so we can't support, hundreds of people. But what can we do as a board to make sure that you have everything you need to keep working on working with these families?
Well, I think that the obvious is just your moral support. I can tell you that we give our heart and soul into what we do. I think it was mentioned I worked in law enforcement. I did that for 30 years. I worked over Keystone when it was open to close. My last job was at Central, working for Mr. John Flynn over there sitting. So I can tell you that the need is out there. The need of families to understand that we got their back, we got their kids back. So your support in what we're doing is so much needed. As we get families to understand that we're not there to cause blame. We come with an open mind as to what we can do. Our thing is, what do you need? And how can we do it together? And if you could give us that support to help, as my advocates, navigate through the buildings and work with these families, that would be outstanding.
Thank you so much.
Director Poston?
With your current staff, what kind of capacity would you have? How many students do you think you'd be able to handle in this program currently?
Well, I'll tell you up front that YAP has a no eject, no reject policy. So I believe the last I looked, our MOU with the schools, 30 customers, community partners, intakes clients, about 30, with a maximum maybe 60 by the end of the year. But because it took a minute for me to get my staff, and now we're navigating through the intakes, we may be short of the 60. We may be just right about 30, 35, 40. Because the staff will then, we'll divide those up between, I will assign to my staff those families that they need to be working with. And plus, I'm working with some families as well. So, and I'm always on the hunt for another advocate. I've been given the okay from my district office that if I need to add another person, I can do that. But we're hitting the ground running. We're 35, 40, hopefully 60. But the year's almost coming to a close. But we're out there doing what we can do. I hope that answered your question.
It does. And just a follow-up question. So how does the referral process occur? Is it from building principals or teachers in the classroom, or a combination? How does that take place?
I think the principals and counselors relay the information to district office. District office then compiles a list of names, and they send those to me. I make the initial contact with the family. So they come via email, or I can go over and pick up whatever the list is. But then I make that initial contact to let them know what the program consists of and what we can do for them. And then once that's done and they've signed always some confidentiality paperwork so that we can all talk. That wraparound services piece is that, I talk with mental health, I talk with juvenile court, depending on what the kid may be involved with. I've been working with CAP, the other program that's similar to us. We have some mutual clients. I'm on a board of other clinicians that talk about the clients in the community. So we kind of have, we figured you're doing something over here, little silos, but now we're trying to make that a big silo that we're all working for the same goal and try to see the same thing. And we do that at the Y every third Friday. Mr. Clips over there has offered his facility, and some people from Family Resources and myself and some other clinicians kind of sit down and talk about it. What we need to do to continue that wraparound piece. So.
Thank you.
If I may add to that, once they reached out for the names, we worked with the buildings to reach out to the families first, and then we passed the names on. So we make sure the families are okay with the names being passed on before they go.
Director Gordon?
You mentioned that you offer 24/7, you work 24/7 basically, but this is not a residential program, correct?
That is correct. It's not.
So I understand that you're working with other community organizations and trying to get these children into a better, more productive place in their lives or whatever. Can you give examples of some things that you're doing with the kids? You mentioned the one coming and stocking the shelves at the library, and the other one getting to go to the NAACP event, which is super cool. But like, what other stuff are you guys doing, I guess?
One of the pieces of paperwork that we go through with the community partners and families is what they call community linkage. There's a form with a very numerous, bust numbers of organizations that are out there doing things, whether it's mental health or social services, whatever. So if I have a kid that I'm sitting down with the family and they say, well, he's got a juvenile court situation, I get with the probation officer, the PO, kind of figure out what's going on in his world, what's the charge, what's that situation. So in the meantime, we're providing him with activities to keep him occupied, that he's not out there 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, that we're involved with him. If something comes up, he or she has my number to call me. If something kicks off over the weekend, they can call me. A couple of young men are involved in the Family and Friends of Reese Morgan. It's a basketball camp once or twice a month. Matter of fact, this weekend we're taking 4 or 5 of the kids over to that camp. So we're involving them in activities that keep them busy. We even ask, who are your friends? We invite the friends because those friends are influencing him when we're not around. So if we can bring that influence in, change their mindset, then it changes our customer service mindset, family's mindset. So we just connect them to whatever's going on in the community. There was just an African American summit that took place this past weekend. Some of our kids were involved in that as well. I'm also, just a side note, I'm also president of 100 Black Men of the Quad Cities Mentoring Program, and we're within the schools. And just so happened that some of my kids that's on my other work piece is also part of that program. So we're hitting them high and low everywhere we can, keep them occupied. Families are involved. Mom and dads get reports from us on what's going on. If there's a hiccup or there's an incident, then we're right there working with the situation to try to see if we can help them navigate through it. So when I say 24/7, we're 24/7. We got a life, but the obvious, but we're there for the kids. It's all about them. So we just got to be there when they need us.
President Gosa, did you have any questions?
I didn't have any questions, but I wanted to thank Mr. Cole for presenting to us. I'm glad they were able to get him at the helm, and I look forward to all the great work this program will do for the kids that need it in our district. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And I'll end with this, that somewhere I read somewhere, and people always ask the question, how are the children? Are the children well? Are they doing well? I can tell you with the Youth Advocate Program, your kids are doing well. And we're putting in the work to make them better people. So thank you so much for your time.
I have one question, but maybe the two of you, between Mr. Barney and yourself, you can answer it. Director Beck wanted to know the process on how this took place for the referrals. Have we had any families that have declined the services and chose not to participate?
Jabari, based on the list that we provided, do you recall how many families may have declined the initial referral?
To date, nobody's declined it, but it's a complicated process. So some folks have to get back to us to give them permission to do it.
Okay.
No one has turned it down. The list he's talking about, because he got a fresh list, when they're done with those kids, they're not done with those kids. So I want to make sure we stress that. This is an ongoing next level, next step. Maybe it's employment, but it's keeping you out of jail. It's keeping you out of trouble. And that's what YP really, I think, is the mark on the whole program. But no one to date.
Thank you.
Well, and I have to add to that is that a couple of the families that we're working with or hope to work with, I called the mothers on 2 different occasions the other day and said, well, my kid's in detention. He's soon to be sentenced. Both of them basically said the same thing. I said, well, that doesn't matter. If you give me the okay, I'll go into the facility and work with your son so that when he gets out, he's got some kind of stability. He's got some type of connection that somebody cares about him. So the mother was a little reluctant because it was like, he's going to be going away. But I said, that doesn't matter to us. We say we want to work with that kid. So
Okay, well, thank you both for that.
thank you.
Thank you for maintaining that hope. Next up, we have some information that was shared with us to make it. The board was very interested in making the navigation of the long-range facility master planning on the web a little bit easier to navigate. And so Danielle Heller helped us put together a video that will assist that. So if we can get that video brought up, we'll play it at this time.
This video will show you how to navigate the Davenport Community Schools website to find information regarding the Long Range Facilities Plan. In the search bar of your web browser, type www.davenportschools.org. Once you've landed on the home page, you will see 4 headers at the top of the page, which include Long Range Facilities Master Planning Committee. Click on that header link to be directed to the Long Range Facilities Master Planning page. On this page, you will find links to meeting minutes, past presentations, and video from our community meetings. Lastly, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you will find a contact form. Through this form, you can submit your questions or comments related to long-range facilities planning. Your input as a parent of a student, alumni, or member of the greater Davenport community is essential to long-range facilities planning. The superintendent and school board read every comment or question shared through the contact form. Thank you for watching, and please let us know if you have any further questions.
Okay, now we'll go to student board reports.
We're from North, and last Sunday afternoon, our green team went to the Living Lands and Water Tree Nursery on Eastern Avenue to pull weeds for about 2 hours. The green team is in the process of planning their next collaborative event, which will be larger, later this month. More on that will be shared at our next school board meeting. This weekend, our North High Drama Club just put on their fall play, which was the Greek tragedy Eurydice. Had a great turnout, and it was a really great play. And then at Wood Intermediate, there are 48 girls on the 8th grade volleyball team throughout. There were 48 girls on the 8th grade girls volleyball team throughout the whole season. They had an amazing season, and this weekend they went to a tournament where they came in second place.
It's that time of year when North's Student Council is collecting cans and non-perishables for the Student Hunger Drive. We attended the Student Hunger Drive kickoff party at the Riverbend Food Bank this previous Monday and had a blast performing an informational skit that we wrote. We have high hopes for this year and are very excited to be able to give back to the community in such an impactful way. Speaking of our Student Council, we have a few events coming up that everybody is invited to. This Wednesday, October 12th, from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., Student Council will be working as bussers at Pizza Ranch to raise money for the Student Hunger Drive. 10% of all dine-in and drive-through meals and all tips between 5 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. will go towards the Student Hunger Drive. We hope to see everybody there. On Friday, October 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. in North's Big Gym, Student Council is hosting a movie and fun night. We will be having some games and then showing the movie Hotel Transylvania. The cost to enter is $3 or 5 cans, and it all goes towards the Student Hunger Drive. Everyone is invited. Thank you all for your time.
All right. And then over on the west side, we are officially 6-1 in football. So unfortunately, I think it was Cedar Rapids. Unfortunately, we've lost 2, but everything else we've won so far. So pretty happy about that. And then just like with North, we're doing our Hunger Drive this week as well. And we're doing a Spirit Week as well with that. So today was Pajama Day, I believe, and then tomorrow is University of Iowa versus Iowa State. And as a soon-to-be Cyclone, I'm pretty excited for that. And then just some other interesting things I got here. Down at Buffalo, they're going to be hosting on October 14th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. a Fire and Emergency Safety Day in recognition of Fire Safety Month, which I had just now learned was a thing. And they will be donating a new smoke detector to every student at Buffalo School, along with some other goodies. And each classroom will be getting a presentation touring the emergency vehicles. And then over at, let's see. Sorry, I do not have this as organized as I probably should. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. And then this has been talked about before in previous years, but it's finally, I believe this January, going to be deployed. The engineering, design, and development team at West, which is student run, is working on a water filtration system to provide clean water to a village in Kenya. And hopefully we're getting pretty close to completion, and there will be a trip this January over to Kenya, and possibly we will have it deployed. So it's about all the stuff I got. Thank you.
Thank you to our student board members. Are there any board reports? Director Posh?
Since the last regular meeting, I was able to make some school visits. I'd like to thank the principals and staff at Buchanan, Washington, Monroe, and Wilson. They gave me the opportunity to sit in on their classrooms and observe a 95% reading program. And then also I was able to sit in on some of the reading interventionists and saw them at work. And I'd like to thank all of them for their time and dedication.
President Gosa, did you have any reports?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, before we go any further, some of you may notice that we have a new board secretary. Actually, this is Mary Carruthers. She was our previous board secretary prior to Brenda. And Brenda's out tonight, so great Mary so graciously stepped in to assist us tonight. I didn't want everyone to wonder why is that strange lady sitting over in the corner. Okay, tonight we have 13 board reports. I'll say the first name and try at the second name, but please forgive me. I don't want to slaughter the names too bad. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out the open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or at the school board page on the district's web page for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participants must email their request to Brenda T. at tbren@davenportschools.org by 3 o'clock on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issues presented during open forum if it is not published as an agenda item. Iowa open meeting law prohibits action on any issues that are not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motive of any person will be called out of order. You'll be asked to state your name, your home address prior to making your remarks. To participate virtually, you call 312-626-6799 and enter the meeting ID number 927-1979-2891 with the passcode of 751710. I have 13 and I will allow 2 minutes for each one. Director Potts will be the timekeeper. Once he tells you that your time is up, we ask that you finish that particular thought and we'll go forward. First, we have Austin Burt and Kylie Flack.
My name is Dr. Austin Burt. My home address is 5833 Charlie Chase Lane, Bettendorf, Iowa, 52722. I'm here tonight. I don't really have a speech prepared, but just wanted to extend a few thank yous. First off the bat, I want to thank the members of the board for allowing us to be here and attend these meetings. I know this has made a lot of your meetings much longer, and we appreciate you listening to our concerns. I had a nice conversation after the last meeting with Director Klein-Jerome and also President Gosa. And one of the things that really stood out to me with their comments was how appreciative they are to the Walcott community and the people that have attended these meetings for how professional and respectful that we've been. So thank you to the Walcott community. You guys have done a great job representing our community. And I just ask that all future conversations going forward are positive. We want to build bridges and not burn them down. Another thank you I'd like to say is to the Walcott City Council and Mayor Kostacek. He was not able to attend tonight, but he does plan on attending a future meeting. And also I want to send a thank you to Mayor Brad Schutte and the Bluegrass City Council Committee, who also wrote a letter in support of the Walcott Elementary School. So thank you to Walcott and Bluegrass City Council members. I also want to thank the Walcott Day Committee. They were gracious enough to purchase these yard signs. They say, "Save Walcott Elementary, stand up for our kids." We've got a ton of them printed, and we'd like to put them on the main roads going into Walcott. So if you live on Main, James, or Memorial, please reach out to us so we can get a sign in your yard. We really just want to spread the word and let people know that these changes are being discussed and how it will impact our community. I think that's all I had to say. So thank you.
I live at 2735 Pioneer Court, Davenport, Iowa. I am a second grader at Walcott School. I don't want you to close Walcott Elementary because I like walking to school with my brother from our babysitters. Closing it would cause us to go to different schools. I don't want to ride the bus next year. I have lost friends to Durant School because of decisions you have made before. Please don't make me lose more friends. I also have a younger brother that is so excited to go to big kid school with his big brother and sister next year. Please don't take this dream from him. I love my teachers and friends at Walcott School. Please leave it the way it is. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Ms. Kylie. We have Tegan Bruns and Amy Hamby.
Hi, I'm Tegan Bruns, 338 West Meadow Lane, Walcott. I love Walcott School. We have amazing teachers and paras. If you get rid of the elementary, it would not be the same. And I have a brother in second grade and I'm in fifth. So if you get rid of the elementary, I will not be able to go to school with him. And I like going to school with my brother, and there is amazing elementary teachers. Thank you.
Amy Hamby, Stockton, Iowa. I'm the mom of a 5-year-old. We do not live in the Davenport School District. But his three cousins do. And over the last 2 years, I have made every decision based on the fact that he was going to go to Walcott School with his 3 cousins, who we're currently raising basically side by side. I can't afford to move into Walcott. I'm fine with that. But if we do not have Walcott Elementary, he will not continue with those 3 cousins. He currently attends a daycare in Walcott. He currently attends Calvary Preschool in Walcott. He would have gone to Walcott this year, but I was lucky enough to have a discussion with his preschool teachers and several faculty and staff at Walcott that said he is not ready. Hold him back, send him to Calvary at $200 a month out of my pocket to make sure that he is taken care of. And that's so that he could go to Walcott next year as a 5-year-old kindergartner, set and ready to go. I don't want to disrupt this child any more than I already have. But if elementary school at Walcott does not continue, he will go to Durant. And I'm pretty sure his cousins may be joining him there, because we have seen what happens in the inner city of Davenport schools. I myself was bused for 6th, 7th, and 8th from the west end of Davenport all the way out to Walcott. An hour and 15 every day. Hour and 15 in the morning, hour and 15 in the afternoon. That eats apart your day. Not to mention the bullying and everything else that goes on those school buses. It is detrimental to Walcott community to not have that elementary school, and detrimental to every single student that has been set up to go to Walcott Elementary.
Sarah Schwartz and Annabella Teasdale.
I'm Annabella, 235 Cedar Lane. I don't want Walcott. I don't want the school to close. I don't want to be separated from my little sister McKenna, and my little sister Savannah might go to Walcott if you keep elementary. We don't want all of us to be separated. Like my aunt said, we don't want to be bused out of Walcott each and every day. So we want to stay in Walcott where we want to.
You want to tell them what you do? Who are you? Can you tell them who you are? Can you tell them who you are? Can you tell them what you like about school? Can you tell them what you like about school? Here. What do you like about school? Your teachers? No? Are you going to be shy? Okay. You don't want the teachers to go. Okay. We can do that. Can you go sit with Aunt Amy? No, we can sit with Mammy. Okay. Sarah Schwartz, 235 West Cedar Lane Drive in Walcott. Currently, I'm a mom of 3 little girls. Lord help me. I have 2 of them that are non-neurotypical. So we have the IEPs. We have the special education. We have those needs that are currently being met at Walcott. We moved from inner Davenport because Walcott Elementary was the only elementary in the Davenport schools that I would allow my kids to go to, knowing that they had these IEPs that were coming. They had those special needs that I knew was going to be taken care of. So at Walcott, I currently have my little one, not so little anymore, 6th grader, who just graduated off an IEP for reading. She's dyslexic. She's got dysgraphia. She's now reading above grade level. She went to Walcott reading at kindergarten level in 2nd grade. Not acceptable. Those amazing teachers helped her do this, along with some private tutoring and other things. Now, little Miss McKenna is on her way to having an IEP, but we're still working through that. This little girl, she can't be bused. She can barely make the drive into Davenport in a private vehicle. There is no way, and she is not the only student out there that can't go on a bus. So we have to make those decisions for those kids that are on IEPs and not let these kids lose that village that they have.
Before you go, McKenna, you're not wanting to say anything? Okay. If you filled out the sheet, I want you to be sure and say what you had
What
on
do you
your
want to
mind,
say?
honey.
You can do it.
It's okay.
Big girl.
Just say what you have to say. It's okay.
I don't want the teachers to go because they help me learn so fast.
Thank you so much. Wade Warnish and Shar Knudsen.
I'm Wade Warnke. Hi, I'm Wade Warnke. I live at 204 East James Street, Walcott, Iowa. I grew up in this great community that you're threatening to hurt. I consider myself a loyal Walcott Panther and West High Falcon. I joined the military after college and lived across the U.S., and there's no place like Walcott. The main reason of this is Walcott Elementary. They're a vital part to our community and the values around that and how we volunteer. That's the main reason why I moved back to Walcott to settle my family down and have my children go to Walcott. And this decision's threatening that. I went to that website that you directed us to yesterday. I spent 4 hours on it, going through all those documents of meetings I didn't know about, which is okay. But I went through all that documents. It takes a lot of time for somebody to commit to that and go through that and try to understand it. One thing I did see out of the 17 pathways, there was only 2 options that kept Walcott a K through 8. And that would make the whole district, every school, a K through 8. I don't think that's a fair option to change the whole school district to make Walcott the same as every other. This district should not be a cookie cut design. We are
We are a large and diverse district, and it's okay to be different in some aspects because we are excelling. It should be a part of something to applause to. I also received the survey you sent out this past week. I wasn't too keen on it as well. There's two options that we can vote on, and with no details. The big thing is that I saw was there's 15 elementary schools versus 12. Didn't list anything about which ones are closing or not. So do you expect a parent like me to go onto your website for 4 hours and try and figure this out? I doubt many will. Closing right here, I just really hope you consider your actions. They do make a huge impact to communities and to everyone in this room and your district. Thank you.
I'm Shar Knutson, 308 North Main Street, Walcott. Tonight I want to focus on the financial advantages of keeping our preschool, Calvary and Walcott, open to serve the statewide voluntary preschool students. In the survey we just received, this statement in both Pathway 1 and 2 is very worrisome to me. Expand the remaining elementary building where needed to provide space for preschool and serve students from schools that are closed. There are currently 14 centers that partner with the district and already provide these services. 8 are located or affiliated with neighborhood churches. I spoke with Sarah, the director at Noah's Ark in Bluegrass. They currently have 29 children, and we have 13 who qualify for the 4-year-old program. Both of our churches provide free classroom space. In addition, Calvary does not charge for rent, a per-student stipend, nothing for utilities, paper products, or printing. Neither of our sites provide busing services. Parents do the transporting. As you may know, the partner money we receive has strict guidelines on how it can be spent, basically for wages and supplies. None of it can be used to provide for our 3- and 5-year-old students. Currently, 2/3 of our operating needs must be raised through tuition and fundraising. Over the past 15 years, we have averaged between $5,000 and $10,000 a year to supplement our budget that the state does not cover. How do we afford that? Very simply, the Walcott community pulls together and values education for their children. That's these people to my left. This group represents over 20 organizations within Walcott, and they generously give to keep our program open. The Davenport district owes them a huge thank you for putting value on our little people and our future leaders. Thank you. Kim Hewlett and Lynette. I'm not going to try that.
Hello, my name is Kim Hewlett. I live at 245 North Main Street in Walcott. First off, thank you all for your time and service to our district. I do not envy your jobs. I have 4 children, and 3 are in the Davenport School District. 1 is at Sudlow Junior High's Creative Arts Academy, and the other 2 are at Walcott Elementary in 4th and 1st grade. Our family is very grateful for the chance to open enroll at Sudlow, and also grateful for all of the friends that our kids have made throughout the entire Davenport district that come to Walcott as well. I want to tell you a little backstory here. During the summer of 2020, my husband and children and I were living right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We came out to visit some of my husband's family in Walcott, and all of a sudden began exploring the idea of moving there. And after spending a week in Walcott imagining what life could look like and rubbing shoulders with community members, we made plans to purchase what is now our home. We had no jobs waiting for us. We knew 5 people in the area. We left behind a business that I had started out east, all of our friends, all of my family, and moved 930 miles away to a specific home in a very specific community. We laughed when we first arrived at how many times we introduced ourselves to new neighbors only to be told we were already known before we got here. This is an example of a community that welcomes and waits for empty houses to be filled and shares in the joy of new neighbors and friends. Knowing that my children could ride their bikes to school safely and together was not a bonus, it was a draw. Being in a community where many of the teachers live and serve right alongside their students is not a coincidence. It's a testament to how wonderful the neighborhood and school are. Having a school that promotes interaction between middle and elementary school students, like reading buddies for 7th graders and kindergartners, or kickball matches between 1st graders and 5th graders, is not just extra fun. It's learning at its best. Research shows that pairing older students with younger students promotes developing social skills, improves academic performances in younger students, and fosters mentoring relationships. I fear that removing the Walcott Elementary from its sister middle school in the same building, we lose that value of relationship building through the ages and the long-term trust between students to teachers or former teachers and students to students. Lastly, the Walcott K-8 school might look different from the other schools, but different doesn't mean problematic. It should be celebrated and modeled instead. It's different because it is different. A small town on the outskirts of Davenport should rightfully have a school that matches the makeup of the town itself. Small, community-oriented, and community-supported. I have more to say, but my time's up. Thanks for your time.
Good evening. I am Lynette Tarchinsky. I live at 431 West Parkview Drive in Walcott, Iowa. Tonight, I just had a couple of things that I wanted to talk through based on some of our previous time together. Last time we were here, President Gosa said we were represented by one rep from every school and one parent from every school, and made it sound like we should really seek these people out to feel like we understand where they were coming from. So we did. And their feedback to us was that at no point did anybody ever recommend closing Walcott Elementary School or changing any school from a K through 8 to an elementary. They also shared with us that they were assured nothing would happen to Walcott Elementary School. So we have reached out to those people, and they have shared their feedback with us that they experienced throughout the planning exercise. Regarding the long-range facilities information on the website, I think Wade did a really great job of kind of explaining how we all feel. I'm not sure if you've all gone out to the website to comb through all of the information out there, but there's a lot and it takes a long time and it's a really big investment. Some of the things that you can't find on the website are information about how boundary lines would change. Where will my elementary kids go if you decide to close our elementary school? And will I have any say on that? I also don't know when I look at that information where the information is where it will show that this is what's best for my child's education. I can understand that this is what's best to close buildings and to consolidate kids and make sure that you have a certain number of head count per teacher. But I don't see where it says that this is what's best for the children's education. Lastly, Austin said he has lots of extra yard signs. So if anybody up here would like a sign, we would be happy to give you one. Thank you.
Kayla Allers and Catherine Dittmer.
Kayla Aller, 7710 202nd Street, Walcott, Iowa. I'd like to start by thanking you for taking the time to listen tonight. I would like to take my time to give you a little of my family story to continue the efforts to show how important Walcott Elementary is to this community. We are not Walcott natives. We moved to Walcott just shy of 3 years ago to move in with my now husband. Prior to Walcott, we lived in Kelowna, Illinois, where my daughter attended Kelowna Elementary School. When making the decision whether my now husband would move to Kelowna with us or we would move to Walcott, we considered several of our life factors, including work, where family lives, the communities, and education, among others. When it came to most of these factors, we thought the differences and distances to be negligible between the two areas, but the main factor that swayed our decision was our daughter's education. Walcott Elementary statistics were frankly far better than where we were. When we looked at high school level, again, the areas were comparable. So we made the move to Walcott. We would find out that although we thought the small communities were comparable, the involvement of Walcott residents in their community truly seems unmatched. Our daughter's first year was during the strict COVID restrictions, where as parents, we were unable to enter the school to help her in any way. As a mother, this terrified me. And on her first day, I was worried. I will admit, I was that mom that called before to make sure there was a plan in place, and the day of to make sure it was going smoothly. The staff at Walcott was nothing short of amazing. They showed me my daughter was safe and cared for and have showed me nothing different since. Our daughter came out of her first day happy and ready to return. That's an attitude she's kept since. She's currently in 4th grade. I tell you all of this because in the facility planning, something that stuck out to me was the stated importance of the duration of a student in the school. Our daughter has made strong connections to the staff at Walcott and feels safe and welcome. As she approaches her adolescent years, as a parent, I understand there's things she's not going to want to discuss with me, or maybe even her teacher at the time. Those connections these kids have made over the years to build in that same building could end up being invaluable. I do not stand before you to pretend to know the ins and outs of the funding requirements. I do know that these pathways were narrowed, so there are other options. I ask when you vote, you truly consider the impact this would have on these kids and the future kids of Walcott. As a parent of a current student and a parent who's expecting, these are both extremely important to me, and I hope that you are all sitting there because they're important to you too. In closing, I implore you to keep Walcott Elementary open. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Catherine Dittmer. I live at 3987 110th Street, Walcott, Iowa. My husband and I are both from small rural communities with elementary schools in them. And we wanted that for our 3 beautiful girls. So we hand selected Walcott, Iowa to be the town that we raised our children in. So it was very devastating to hear that there was the consideration of the closure of elementary school on the table. So I did what I do best, which is research. And so I am going to be citing quite a bit of community impact from the Cornell University professor and sociologist, Dr. Thomas Lyson. He says that one thing is clear from academic research on rural schools: closings and consolidations can drastically change the flavor of civic life inside rural communities. Some high-level statistics from that is that immediately property values drop 6% when you close elementary schools. Also, over the course of 10 years, the municipalities' water function and sewer systems tend to not be as well kept anymore when you close an elementary school. There also shows a greater income equality within the community itself over the course of 10 years. Some of that is due to the transportation burden on lower income parents. He continues on to say that school consolidation is likely to remain a threat to rural communities in the coming decades. And considering everything, one of the most dramatic threats possible. Also, I'd like to quote the professor, Dr. Michael Hayes from the University of Toronto, in his paper, Impact on School Closures in Rural Communities. He echoes all of Dr. Lyson's findings and also adds that it increases the rates of absenteeism. And after looking at a 10-year meta study shows that children with closed elementary schools are 15% more likely to not go on to achieve a college degree. So I echo the sentiment of both doctors, and I would like to add that if this continues, my family, and I would assume many other families, will be leaving the school district.
Thank you all for your participation in open forum. And Dr. Burt, no need to apologize for your concern, voicing your concerns. We like to hear what the community has to say. May I have a
Did you hand it to me? Whoever was at that desk, yeah, someone in the back told me to hand it. I put everything up there. I can fill out another one if you'd like, but I would like to do this. There was one on my desk and I put it up there, so.
Sorry, could you say your name again?
Jessica Aubrey. Do you need something to write? Yes, please, yeah. So why don't you just go ahead and write your stuff down real quick. Okay. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. Let me give it to her. Do you want it? All right. My name is Jessica Aubrey. I live at 225 North Downey Street in Walcott. My husband and I have gone through and read the meeting minutes and information on the pathways about how our elementary school is going to be closed. And as you've heard, it's a lot to go through. A lot. The common thought now is that the pathways were designed as a one-fits-all approach. And it would appear that Brea architects didn't take the time to consider the impact of losing our elementary to our community. Because it's not apparent in any of the documentation available for review. And what I can tell you is that my husband, Joe Aubrey, is extremely diligent in his research. My family, our community, are still confused as to how the district as a whole will benefit for closing Walcott Elementary. There's a lot of misinformation that President Goza had said, but there's not a lot of correction of that misinformation. If there's something that's being said that's wrong, no one's had addressed that at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I apologize that I don't know what happened to the request, but I'm glad you were able to speak. May I have a motion for consent agenda?
Madam President,
Director Potts?
I move the board approve the consent agenda as printed.
May I have a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I'll call for the vote. Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Gordon?
Yes.
Director Beck?
Yes.
President Gosa?
Yes.
Director Klein-Drone?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion passed. We move to the approval of bills. May I have a motion?
Madam Chairperson,
Director Gordon.
I move the board approve the following resolution. Resolved, all claims presented to the board having been duly certified as correct by the treasurer, reviewed by the administration and board members, and they are hereby audited and allowed as just claims and warrants drawn on the treasury for the several amounts. Further resolved, the payment of claims and salaries to be approved as presented for the period of September 21st to October 4th, 2022.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Call for the vote. Director Gordon.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
President Gosa.
Yes.
Director Klein-Drone.
Yes.
Director Posture.
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion approved. Superintendent's report. Dr. Barney.
I think the only pieces that we had out there, first would like to acknowledge that all three bands were selected to participate in the Veterans Day Parade. And then the second one, President Gosa, did you want to mention the recommendation from the DE?
You can totally do it, Dr. Barney. I'll let you, you're getting to sit at the big chair, so you have at it.
All right. We were notified today actually, Kevin, go ahead. You grabbed the mic, I saw it.
This is the best part. Sunday, we got an email from Cassandra Klein at the Department of Ed, and she and Director Lebo has released us from our financial control from the DE officially.
Thank you.
No more? Okay. We're moving to committee reports. Finance Committee.
We'll be having our monthly meeting next Thursday.
Legislative Advocacy.
No report at this time.
ILSIAC.
We will have our first meeting of the school year next Tuesday, the 18th, I believe at 5:30 in the evening.
Long Range Facilities Planning.
We met and Mike was working up a press release to urge the community to actively participate in the survey. And the survey has gone out. I got mine Saturday. I don't know if everybody got theirs, but it's essential that the community review that and fill it out and respond, because here again, we've said before, we are looking for feedback. This is a big undertaking. There's big implications for the school district, not just for Walcott, but there's big implications for Walcott, but for the entire school district and the course that we're going to be heading on when the board makes a decision sometime in December. So it really behooves the public to dig into this thing and participate, give us that feedback.
Policy Committee.
We met this week and we have a number of things coming up on the agenda tonight for approval and discussions. And then our district philosophy policy, we should be bringing that to the board at our next regular meeting.
Thank you. And there's no additional data wall information available at this time. Moving on to items requiring action. May I have a motion of item number 11.01.
Madam Vice President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the MBAEA/Davenport induction support agreement and contract for the 2022-23 school year for $30,000 to provide evidence-based practices for beginning teachers.
Second.
Is that Dr. Posh? Director Poston? Is there any discussion? Seeing as none, I'll call for the vote. Director Beck?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
President Gosa?
I'm going to abstain as I serve as the district's person on the AEA board.
Director Klein-Drome?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Gordon?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion passed. May I have a motion for item number 11.02, renewal of project search partnership?
Madam Vice President,
Director Poston?
move the board approve the project search contract with Iowa Vocational Rehabilitation Services in the amount of $190,086.18.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second by Directors Poston and Klein-Drome. Is there any discussion? Seeing as none, I'll call for the vote. Director Poston?
Yes.
Director Klein-Drome?
Yes.
Director Beck?
Yes.
President Gosa?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Gordon?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion passed. May I have a motion for item number 11.03, Bethany for Children and Families ESSER request?
Madam Vice President,
Director Beck?
I move the board approve the Bethany Children and Families ESSER request for fiscal year 2022-23 for up to $155,902.50 to provide up to 3 school-based therapists for Davenport schools.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second by Directors Beck and Klein-Drome. Is there any additional discussion? Call for the vote. Director Beck?
Yes.
Director Klein-Drome?
Yes.
President Gosa?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Gordon?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion passed. May I have a motion for item number 11.04, review annual non-discrimination statement?
Madam Vice President,
Director Beck?
I move the board approve the annual update of the administrative regulations 102B, 102C, and 102D per school board policy 102.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second by Directors Beck and Klein-Drome. Is there any additional discussion on it?
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Director Beck?
I'm assuming these are coming from Jamie W. Anything significant changed, or this is just our annual review of these?
It's an annual review. There weren't any changes, even comparing it to the IASB. And then our CTE programs haven't changed this year, so it's status quo.
Any additional discussion? I'll call for the vote. Director Beck?
Yes.
Director Klein-Drome?
Yes.
President Gosa?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Gordon?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion passed. A motion for item number 11.05, board policies for approval.
Madam Vice President,
Director Beck?
the policy committee recommends the board approve the following policies: 100, 208, 211, 215, 401.14, 402.02, 402.04, 402.11, 402.14, 406.07, 501.14, 501.15, 501.18, 501.19, 504.01, 505.03, 505.10, 600, 601.02, 602.01, 602.02, 602.03, 602.06, 604.03, 604.04, 604.05, 604.10, 604.13, 605.01, 605.05, 605.08, 800, 804.05, and 900.
Is there a second? Second. It's been properly moved and second by Directors Beck and Potts. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing as none, we'll call for the vote. Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Gordon,
Yes.
President Gosa,
Yes.
Director Kleindrome,
Yes.
Director Posture,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion passed. Okay, we'll take 5 minutes. Could everyone please come back to your seats so we can resume now?
TJ has a backpack full. I have like 7 of them, so he can have that one. Because every time I need a pen, TJ's sitting next to me, so.
Okay, we're moving on to the 12 point, item number 12.01 for the 2023-24 high school course guide. Dr. Barney will take care of that.
Yeah, so on the course guide, I think it's been a little while since the course guide has been brought to the board for review. There's not a whole lot of changes there, other than kind of getting things all in one place and making sure that we've got a framework for moving forward. So, any specific questions? I think John and I will do our best to answer them. Allie would have normally been here to present, but she was unavailable this evening.
Director Beck?
Just one real simple one, to update the mission statement in the document.
Duly noted.
I have to say, this is the first time in 3 years on the board I've ever seen this, and board members that were on before me said, yeah, they've never seen it either. So this is nice to be able to have it come here.
This last year, Lisa Stevenson and I had a number of conversations. In our previous experiences, this was a normal annual opportunity, and so we were very intentional this year. Appreciate Diane's leadership to make sure it got ready to go and presented for you guys.
Jackson?
Just wanted to first off thank you guys for getting this out really early. I know a lot of students have been they get kind of stressed at the end of the year because they don't know what classes they can take, and so they're just kind of like, I guess I'll take this class if they have it. So thank you guys for getting this out early, and then also kind of doing a little bit of what Miss Beck did or Dr. Beck did. I noticed at the end there occasionally was some like weird. It would say like credit 0.5, but sometimes it would say credit 0.5. I don't know, a little OCD on that, but I just noticed that. So there's something else to add to that.
Any additional questions? President Gosa?
Just thanks for finally letting us see this. The entire time I've been on the board, I've never seen this, and I did. It took quite a bit of time to go through all of the slides on this, so I do greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Big thank you to Allie for all the hard work that she put into putting this together.
I'd just like to echo what Jackson said. As a high school student, obviously, I'm super interested in this piece of information. And it's very nice to see just such a breadth of knowledge offered to us high school students. I'm super, I have a wide range of interests. And so it's amazing to be able to go to a district like this where I can pursue all of those interests to my heart content. So thank you.
And thank you for your feedback. It's always nice to hear what student board members have to say, especially on items that directly affect you. Thank you both for your input. Item number 12.02, the architecture of the Central High George Marshall Gym roof replacement.
We would like to hire Leggett Architects to do the design of the documents for the central gym. Currently has holes in it, very stretched. Believe it or not, there's actually raccoons climbing on the roof occasionally, and because of the way it's stretched out on the roof and some folds on it, they're actually biting the roof and putting holes in the roof as well. The roof is currently 23 years old. We've repaired it a number of times. I was personally on it. It's stretched a lot. So my recommendation is to hire Leggett to put these documents together so we can put it out for bid.
Any questions, Director Beck?
I guess kind of the one we always have. Why this particular architect?
We've used this architect for a number of roofing projects, so it seems to go well. They understand our flow. It's just who we pick.
Okay.
Director Boston?
I guess I'll ask the same question, and I'd still like to see us getting bids from various architects.
Okay.
President Gosa?
The only thing I got, I'm surprised this didn't get caught when that whole project got done at Central. And the only coincidental thing, I feel like anytime a roof gets replaced at any other high school, then immediately Central's needing something done too to match that. Just coincidental. But yeah, that's all I got.
In this case, I would say it is a coincidence. The raccoons on the roof really emphasized the fact that we needed to replace the roof. So, yeah.
I have a question. What would be the timeline then that this roof would be replaced? Next spring?
It would be next summer, hopefully, as long as materials are able to come in.
And how are you going to keep the raccoons out till then?
We've repaired the roof where we could. We put some equipment up there to restrain the roof down a little better, so it's not flapping in the wind like it was, and hopefully that helps. But that's all I can say. They climb up different areas of the roof.
Director Poston?
I'd recommend some live traps.
We might have some places we can get a couple of those.
If there's any additional information that you're needing prior to the next meeting to vote on this, please check with Superintendent Sneckloff and Josh to get your answers for that. Director Beck?
Sorry, one more quick question. So you anticipate this being able to be done in the summer. Can we speed along the process just so that we're not starting it, June 2nd or whatever, so that we can guarantee that it's done before next school year? Is there any way to make sure we get all the materials and things like that amassed before the end of the school year?
The truth of the matter is, right now, it's supply chain issues. When the installation shows up, especially in the roofing projects, we're good to go.
Okay.
And right now, they're really backed up.
Yeah.
So they won't tell me exactly when it'll show up. It's within a couple of months. So
okay.
Until it shows up.
Now, when that time comes, is there a certain temperature that you must meet before you can do roofing, or do you have to wait till the spring?
We'd ideally wait till the spring, unless we want to change the type of roof we put on. That'll change the cost and scope and everything. So ideally, we wait till probably 40-ish plus degrees.
Okay. Director Gordon?
Is the current roof going to survive the winter if we get 2 feet of snow all at once or any crazy ice storms?
I'm hoping we don't get the thickness of ice we had about 2 years ago, but right now we've done what we could to secure it, fix the holes, and if something really weird happens, it could leak, but we've done what we could at this point. We've hired a contractor to come in and fix it the way we should.
Can we give the raccoons these shovels?
Okay, any additional questions, comments, concerns? Okay, item number 12.03, Fillmore Gym fan replacement.
it's come to light that the Fillmore gym space has been kind of high in temperature and it doesn't seem adequately ventilated, things like that. So we had the air handler looked at to see if it needs to be replaced. There's a few issues with it, but it also can be replaced to improve air quality within that space and increase our energy proficiency. So at this point, we're recommending replacement of that gym air handling unit with a VFD drive, which would be paid for through ESSER funding.
Jackson.
As a Fillmore alumni, I must just say thank goodness.
You're welcome.
Director Beck.
Is this something that can be spent out of ESSER money? I couldn't hear what you said.
Correct. Sorry, I didn't say it loud enough, but yes, we would spend that out of ESSER money.
Okay, thank you.
President Gosa.
I don't really have nothing other than glad that's finally getting done because it is a little warm in that gym whenever I'm in there. So thank you.
No problem.
Item number 12.04, Director Beck.
So we have 3 policies that we had last regular meeting as well. This is a second discussion of policy 400, policy 704.03, and policy 706.01. If there are any questions or comments, I will entertain them now. All right, we will see these at our next regular meeting for approval.
You can go forward with the next one, 12.05.
Okay, so my computer, there it goes. Okay. We have 3 policies here, but it looks like only 2 got linked. These are policies that we had to update due to IASB releasing new language related to House File 802, which is a piece of legislation that's aimed at transparency. And so basically there's just a little bit of new language. Oh, wait, I'm doing the wrong group, aren't I? Nope, we had to update these because these got, sorry, I'm doing the wrong group. I'm thinking of a different group of policies that's coming to our next regular meeting. Sorry. These 2 are just updates. They got kind of held up and fell through some gaps when we were transitioning through post-pandemic, when we went from kind of working a lot on these to not being able to work on them so much. And so they just kind of fell through the holes. Basically, nothing real special about them. They're just kind of, this is how we do these things. So, questions? All right, we'll bring them for second discussion next time.
Okay, thank you very much for that. For your first 3 items, if you have any questions or anything that you're needing prior to our next meeting, please see the appropriate individuals for that. And for items 12.04 and 5, please see Director Beck or someone on the policy committee to get answers to that, so you'll be prepared to vote on our next meeting. Administrative reports. Okay.
None at this time.
Any board requests? Okay, we'll do the round robin for reflections. Let's start with President Gosa. You're always last, so you'll be first tonight.
Perfect. Thank you. I guess my biggest takeaway from tonight, I was glad to hear the YAP presentation and that's taken off. I know it took a little bit to get up and going, but I'm excited to see that program up and running, and I'll be excited to see what all they do. It sounds like they got a very good head start on it, and I'll be glad to kind of follow along and see all all the benefits from that program.
Thank you. Director Kleindro?
Was also happy to hear that, 5 kids are getting pretty intense wraparound services support, and look forward to hearing that we are adding to that population that will be served. Shout out to Danielle Heller for putting together the video, how to access the long-range facility, because sometimes on the district website, it is a little bit hard to navigate and find what you're looking for. And a huge thing that we've been released from financial control from the DE. That was like probably the best.
Director Pasha?
Yeah, I would echo just what Karen said. The release from the Department of Ed, that's huge, especially for what we've gone through the last few years. Again, I appreciated the presentation on the YAP program, and then I also appreciate the public forum, the input from the community. It's greatly appreciated.
Director Beck?
Yeah, tonight I wrote down 2 things being released from Department of Education financial oversight. I wrote financial freedom, exclamation point. And then I would like to thank our administration for the course guide, because that is something that, I've never seen on our board, and it makes sense to me that we would see it each year. So I appreciate being able to see what's going on.
Director Gordon?
Yes, I want to echo being thankful for being released from financial control. Also very thankful for Danielle for putting together that navigation to the long-range facility master planning on the website. I know that can be difficult to find, but it does sound like some people are finding their way through those documents, and I appreciate people that are taking time to go through them. I know it's a lot of information, and I think that the better educated we all are on this, the better it'll be for everybody. So I look forward to more discussion surrounding that.
Director Potts?
I would just echo the YAP presentation. Mike Cole I've known Mike Cole for 30 years. I don't know, a long time. And everything he touches is done well. So I'm very optimistic.
Dr. Barney?
I think most importantly, I appreciated the students' input throughout the evening. And I want to encourage more of our students to take advantage of the opportunity to join the board and represent their buildings and the things that are going on in the building. So thank you guys very much, and thank you to our young ladies that were with us earlier that left.
Thank you. Jackson?
First off, thank you for the kind words, Dr. Barney, and nothing I can say about the YAB presentation that hasn't already been said. I mean, I think that's going to be very, very helpful, especially with some of our more, I guess I don't know how to put this, like schools with more behavior issues. I think this could be a great help for that. Very happy to hear the news about Fillmore. Even when I was going there, I felt like that gym probably had a secret heater just kind of in a corner blasting at us. So I'm glad to know that I was just crazy and that there's just a fan problem. Also, just re-echoing again, thank you so much for getting this course guide out now. I mean, obviously I'm a senior. This is somewhat irrelevant to me, but I know a lot of people that are going to be a lot less stressed than I was last year for that. And then the financial stuff. I mean, obviously I'm not as well versed in this stuff as you guys are, but it is very nice to know that, if I decide to move back to Davenport in a few years after college, that I'll be going to a district that actually has, full control over itself, and that's going to be very great for everybody.
Landon?
Okay. Sorry. YAP was amazing. I'm unfamiliar with a lot of things, as this is only the second meeting that we're at, so we're all of us are kind of catching up slowly. But this is the first time I'm hearing of YAP, and amazing. It's super exciting to see people so invested in our students. I'd also like to just thank everyone for the things that were shared at Open Forum. I think that it's super important and amazing that we're able to hold such an important conversation with just as much passion as well as cordial respect for each other. It's something I don't get to see every day in the high school's hallways, and it's something amazing to be able to witness firsthand. And then finally, again, because we're kind of catching up to a lot of stuff, a lot of the things that were passed for action today were just things that I think are really cool, like the therapists coming in. I think that's going to be the therapists, especially, is what I noted. Is I know so many of my friends who lives have been changed simply by having someone that they can trust to talk to, and so I am super excited for what will be happening, and I hope that maybe that can grow down the line. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments. And one of my highlights again was asking you to read the mission and vision statement so you're able to engage more with the meeting, and also your comments that you gave, very insightful. I was impressed with the YAP presentation. I've always wanted to know, just kind of stay abreast of what's going on in that program and see how the students are progressing through the program. I enjoyed Mike's explanation of how that program is going so far. Also, I'm excited about our early Christmas present from the state and being released from the financial situation that we were in. So it's just basically, with that last thing, you can clearly see that the ship has turned, and now we need to do what we must do to stay on course and, only build and get better from where we were as opposed to where we are today, and also have our focus on where we can go. With Jackson?
Sorry, you reminded me. I can't believe I forgot to say this. Thank you for letting us read that. I know it's like a small thing, or some might think it's a small thing, but that did actually mean a lot to me that you had let us read the mission and vision statement. So thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. If you enjoy that, I'll defer every time I have one.
Oh, gladly.
Okay. Anything more to add?
Director Hayes, I'd like to remind everybody, tomorrow night is the band spectacular at Brady Street Stadium at 7 o'clock. We have an awesome music program, and all the junior highs and high schools will be performing. It is spectacular. So I encourage you to attend.
Director Pasha? Okay. Okay. I had a thought that also, remember to get your surveys back. I think the deadline is October 26th. So please take the time to go through those surveys and make sure that we get them back so you know that your input will be counted when those surveys are tallied. With that, if there's nothing else, Director Potts?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sounds like the ayes have it. This meeting is now adjourned